Look, obviously we want to end top. We also want to give ourselves that momentum. After the drawn match against Tanzania, we want to go and get a win like any other team. And then in top, it also allows us to stay where we are and not move too much. I think that helps a lot. You're familiar with your surroundings, you're familiar with the stadium and everything. Getting disrupted to move somewhere else, it's not what we want to do. But we know no game is easy. You've seen it in the competition. And we have to be on top of our game, because they know they're in it as well. We are aware that not getting the result we want could push us further down, but we still have it in our own hands. We're not taking out the calculators and the permutations. We still have it in our own hands, and that's a good thing for us. We know what we have to do, and that's really, really important. I think we don't look at one specific area. We look at how we can improve as a team all round. There's certain things that we probably need to work on, is our movement of the ball, rotating the ball quicker, supporting in the final third, all of those things that we need to work on. It's good that we've scored from a set piece. It's not so good that we've conceded from a set piece, because we've also been working on both defending and attacking set pieces. So it's great, and it's also great that we have another different goal scorer. So it helps not to rely on one individual, because you never know where the goals are going to come from. If we scored within the first 3 minutes, I think we had a chance. The game would have turned out differently, and it's those small details, that set you apart. Being able to take those chances when they come. I think it was more than a half chance, and to take the half chances, because we did get a couple of half chances after that as well. So we have to be aware of how important this game is. Having qualified for the knockout stages is good, but we want to end top.
How many will there be tomorrow?
You have to wait and see, obviously. We're looking at always keeping players fresh. The heat has played a huge factor in the fatigue. We also know that some of the leagues where our players play in, stopped a long time ago. So we have to manage that as well, and fatigue. So it's not just making changes for the sake of making changes. It's also looking at how we can get the best out of each and every player, especially with, if you've stopped playing in April, we have to manage that. If you stop playing in May, we have to manage that as well, because we have to make sure that we have our players fresh all the time. We have to make sure that we put the best available team on the pitch. And I thought now the other evening we had a good enough team to win the match. We just didn't do certain things right. And as the game goes on, you're behind, you're chasing the game. You then try, as a player, you try to do that little bit extra, which maybe doesn't help. Just sticking to the basics probably. But we're always looking. We did this in 2022. Where we changed the team consistently, because we felt that the players we brought with, we trust each and every one in the team, and we feel that whoever we put on the park can do the job.
Yes, I think obviously as a player you need to be prepped for anything, and with the team that we have, that's what they're doing with us. You will know a day or two before what you need to prepare for with the upcoming match. But off the field, we're also a very solid team. We're going through a transition period, and I think we're making it look seamless, but it's not seamless. Again, there's going to be a lot of player rotation. There's new players coming into the team, and we have good seniors, man, who are guiding us, the ones that didn't have so many minutes, who have to step up now. And I think with the transition that we're going through, it will be a lot of player rotations and getting the right type of players and the right personnel on the field. But in terms of being teammates, just being supportive, and as the coach said, sticking to the basics. The mentality going into this tournament was always to take it one game at a time. That's what won us the tournament in 2022. We came in as contenders, and our goal is to finish top, so it doesn't change anything for us really. The goal is still to finish top and to take it one game at a time.
I agree with Amu. We don't want to lose focus of the task at hand. I think if you look too far ahead of yourself, yes, you're looking at other groups when they are playing, but your mind is what is next. And the next game after Tanzania is obviously Mali. So that is what you concentrate on, more than anything. Whatever happens after, we'll wait for after the game to be able to see where and what, because there are so many permutations below you. If you start looking around all of those permutations, you lose focus of what you need to work on. And what we need to work on is to get ready for the Mali game. Where you have 1 day practically, which is not a lot, but we just work on what we need to improve on from previous games and what will make us better. And how we can help each other on the pitch. I think that is the most important thing. Certain things didn't go right. What can we do? Why didn't go right? What can we improve? So that's all we look at, because we want to stay true to who we are. And sometimes on the pitch we don't. And I think that comes with a little bit of pressure maybe, in not wanting to maybe make a mistake or so. But we want to stay true to who we are, because the minute we put the ball on the ground, there were some very, very good moments, getting into the final third with those movements, with those quick rotations, with those quick combination play. And that's what we need to stay true to. And many know that, and they become aggressive and over-aggressive in trying to stop us, but yet we need to stay true to who we are. And that's what we've been working on. You must remember, we played a Tanzania team, and we didn't want to say anything before, but they've been in camp a month before. They also played at the Casafa Cup, and you can see the synergy. The longer you're in camp, you can see that synergy. We didn't have that long to prepare. Playing international friendlies are different, because you are testing and trying out players. You want to see what players can offer, so you don't really work on what you need to do. You only work on that when you have all the players in camp, and that's the only time you can work on it. And it was a shorter time than what we had in 2022. And so you had to sort of cram everything into that shorter period. And you can see that they were smart in bringing the Sakafa Cup forward to allow them to play 5 matches, because they had their squad there. So you can see the difference when a team is together longer. You can see the difference. But I take my hat off to these players, because they've played for, with, and against each other in the past. And I think that helps a bit, because they know each other. I was just trying to find that balance, trying to find that connection again. And in moments you can see it, but we're not consistent in those moments. If we can be a little bit more consistent in those moments, then you'll see more of the team and how good we are. And it takes time, but there's a lot of talk that we haven't played well. But when I look at the footage, if you really go back and look at the footage, because you stand there, you see something different. And you can ask them. I don't like to speak after the game, because you can't take anything back. You rather go back and have a look at the game, which I did. I went to sleep at 2 a.m. because I had a look at the match just to see. And when I looked at the second half, we were really good. We just didn't. Our final ball maybe in the final third. Our decision making maybe in the final third. Now you're behind. Everybody gets in front of goal. They want to score, but maybe there's someone in a better position, and we don't see that. So if we can improve on that, we'll get more results going our way, and we'll be have more positive outcomes now. But because we've drawn a game, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You've played another team who's really also worked hard, who came in, and sometimes you have to give credit to an opponent, who try to nullify your strengths and use their strengths against you, and sometimes you have to give credit to that. And I think going back into the change room, trying to change a few things, we came out a better team. But we're never going to please everyone, but we're going to have to please ourselves. We're going to have to stand up and say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? How can we improve? How can we be better? And that's what we're currently doing.
What do we know about...
we know...
And qualify for the World Cup.
Yes, ma'am. So what we know about them is a typical African team, very physical, and they have a key player in their striker, but we have a good analysis team that are briefing us on that, so we won't give you too much on that. We might give away some important notes that we need to keep to ourselves. But we know that it's going to be a tough game. And as we've seen with the tournament, every team has gotten better. And that's what we love to see for women's football, that the competitiveness going up. And for us as players and individually, it can only make us better. And for us, again, is to focus on our strengths. As we said, as the coach said, we are contenders. As much as they're physical, we also have our strengths that we are planning to use against them. So the goal is to get positive results, and I think we will do that.
Have you embraced it?
I think for me, being a captain is not something that I'm new to, but it's a different role that I had to step into in the national team. Again, as the team is going through a transitional period, I think for me, I've been with the team in 2022, obviously having played a different role. I think for me, my role in the team has changed in that the newer players and the younger players probably relate to me more. So for me to make, again, that transition very seamless and make sure that we gel together. And I think it's been difficult, but I'm trusting the process, and I've done it before. And I think it's also an opportunity for me to step up. And yeah, I've been enjoying it with how difficult it has been, but it has also been a huge learning curve.
Arryadia said on Friday night she found something wrong in the long ball through the air, and she said again today, keep the ball on the ground. She doesn't look like a screaming and shouting kind of coach, but I wonder in the debrief and the analysis, was that an important point that she made?
Yes, it's not just Coach Des. There's an entire technical team, and I think we try and do things differently. You would be very surprised to know that this time around it was the players. I think, again, there's a huge standards that's set on the team for us to do certain things well. And this time around, it didn't have to be the coaches to realize that we actually didn't play our game the way we wanted to. We didn't see the finer details, whether it be the ball that's slippery, whether it be the field that's watered in a certain way. It was us that was doing the analysis. And yes, she's always a big voice because she's the coach, but there's an entire...
Sometimes they can't hear me.
Yes, and it also helps to have players who are leaders, and I think that's what we have in Banyana. There isn't, like, even for me, I'm a younger player in terms of the experience that I have in the team, but I'm also a co-captain, so it helps to relay the message on the team, and also for us as players to look at each other and be like, what did we not do well, and also to look at us individually. And I think this time around the coach didn't have to do as much work as the players. We saw what we did wrong and what we did correctly in the previous game.
Coach, obviously done, the maths, and you've thought about what it means to win the group and staying at your base. Have you thought about maybe, and I'm sure Mali have done the same, in the way that a draw might suit them best, and that topping the group is not necessarily the best thing for them, in that they get to stay at their same base, and it's 2B versus 2C, were they to finish second. Of course, they can't risk losing because they might finish third, and it's much more difficult. But what do you think their mentality is coming into the game with that in mind?
Probably yes and no, because when you win, you also have that momentum. You have that confidence. You have that all going for you. And we want to win all our games. Period. I think you come into a tournament, if you don't come here to win it, whether you're defending champions or whether you're first timers, you come here to win it. Because if you don't come here for that reason, unless you go out there and tell the world that you're coming here to give experience or you're coming here to play players, but each and every country that's here wants to win it. You can see it on the pitch. You can see it on the pitch by the way they're fighting for each other. You can see it on the pitch when one team scores, the other one scores immediately and wanting to get a result. But I think moving would be a huge disruption. I think you're familiar with everything. So we're going to go out there. We know we can get a point, but I think to play for a point, it's very dangerous. We've never, ever, as long as I can remember, when you needed a draw, we've never gone to play for a point because you get caught. I've seen big teams. I remember, I don't know what year it was, Benny McCarthy, Porto, United needing a draw and losing it right at the end. So we're not that kind of team that will take it out of our hands. Not sure what they're going to do. Obviously, we'll see when the game starts, how they set up, whether they sit deep or whether they come. Then you'll know what they want to do. And if they do sit deep, it's up to us to break them down. If they do come at us, it's up to us to make sure that we keep a clean sheet and obviously take our chances. But we have it in our own hands. And in our own hands means we want to top the group. So we want to make sure that we win the game. As Amu said, no game is easy, and we know that. But we got to make sure that we are better than what we were now the other night in a lot of areas. And we've been working on that. As you said, we had the analysis, which was different. But the technical team plays a huge part because of the input that they bring. Sometimes you see Coach T on the line. Sometimes you see the goalkeeper coach on the line, because it makes sense for someone that sees something sitting on the bench to come and give information instead of wasting 2 seconds, 2 minutes trying to explain something. So we have that understanding, we sometimes as both Coach Kim and myself trying to scream trying to scream, and you can see the players can't hear. So it's important that, like Amos says, that they find those solutions on the pitch as well, and be able to see each other and be able to help each other in that way. But we want to end top. It will give you that momentum. You also then stay here. You're also then able to do everything here, and only then do you move once you get that result.
Coach, it's been a while since Banyana lost in this tournament. Is that one of the things that push you, that drives the team? And is it always at the back of your mind, or you just take it as it comes?
If you look at the faces after the game, it tells you that it was a draw, but it was like a loss. The expectations that we have and the expectations that the players have of themselves, to them it felt like a loss. And I went around and said, guys, we drew, we didn't lose. We're still in it, we still have it in our own hands, but for that moment, it was like a loss, you know? So that's the expectations that they have of themselves. Yes, you don't think about that, but it can happen. That's the reality. No team has gone unbeaten and not lost a game when they were not expected to lose a game. I go back to Leicester City, every time people said, no, they're not going to do it. The next game they'll lose, and they just went on and on and on. So it happens. In the next year, 1 year they fight relegation, the next year they win the league. So there's 3 results in football: a win, a draw, and a loss, and it can happen to any team. It doesn't mean that because you've drawn or you've lost that you're any lesser now. It just means that there's work to be done. It just means that there's certain things that we didn't do right, but there's certain things that the opponent did maybe better. And having such a top analysis team showing us all of those things, and the way we did it was a bit different, because we just wanted to understand what they see on the pitch, because all of us don't see the same thing, you know. And from where we're sitting, we see something different to where the analyst is sitting, because I can think that, you know, she's doing something wrong, but maybe it's not her, maybe it's somebody else that's forcing her to do what she's not supposed to do. So we rely completely on other coaches, on the analysis. And when someone's sitting behind you, they seeing, I'm playing the game with the players. So I'm not seeing what everyone else is seeing behind me. I'm seeing what they are seeing, you know. So it's that key elements behind. Even when we changed, did you know that we changed the formation? Did you see how we changed the formation in the second half? No, you didn't. That came from the bench. But we've played that formation before, so it was easy to just change it. We played that formation, I think, almost the whole time in 2022. So we changed the formation slightly, but it came from the bench. The bench came and Coach T came and said, Coach, what do you think? Do this, we do this. And I looked at it and I thought, why not? Because we needed to score. Then we scored, then we needed a goal, and we kept that formation because we needed more numbers in the box. So sometimes they don't see that, but the people behind are extremely valuable, because when you stand there, you're playing the game with the players. You're playing the game with the players and you don't see what they see behind. So they become very, very important in that essence. They're not just there on the bench. I mean, Coach Campbell sees something and he'll come and he'll start screaming with his loud voice, and people ask, why is the goalkeeper coach screaming? He's probably got the loudest voice in the team. Yeah. And sometimes you need that loud voice, because you can see the players can't hear what we're saying unless there's a water break, unless there's an injury where someone comes closer. So